Let us begin with a cold, hard truth that most men will never see coming until it smacks them straight in the soul, leaving them gasping for air in the rubble of a life they thought they had built on solid ground. You can give her the world. You can provide the house, the car, the exotic trips, and a level of material comfort that would be the envy of all her friends. You can shower her in love, praise her beauty until she believes it herself, listen to her workplace dramas for hours on end, and make her feel, by all conventional measures, like the most important person on the planet. You can be the perfect gentleman, the loyal partner, the provider, and the protector. And you can still watch her walk away, with tears in her eyes, straight into the arms of a man who offers her less than nothing in comparison, and she will do so as if none of what you gave her ever mattered. This is not because you were not enough in the ways you thought you were supposed to be, but because you gave her everything except the one thing her primal, feminine nature truly craves. You gave her everything but the one thing most modern men have been conditioned to forget, and once she gets even a fleeting taste of it from someone else, she will throw away the entire world you so painstakingly gave her just to keep feeling that singular, intoxicating sensation. What is it? What is this invisible force, this secret ingredient that trumps all the effort, all the affection, all the provision, and all the promises you have been conditioned to believe would make her stay forever? It is not merely excitement or chaos, though those can be clumsy, toxic proxies for it. It is not drama or abuse, for that is the realm of broken boys, not powerful men. The one thing that can make a woman abandon a kingdom of comfort is emotional tension, not the negative tension of a bad argument, but the specific, high-voltage, internal suspense that only a man with deep presence, powerful masculine polarity, and profound emotional control can create. It is the tension of the unknown. It is the thrilling, unnerving edge of unpredictability. It is the subtle, pervasive feeling that he is not entirely conquered, not fully claimed, and most importantly, not dependent on her validation for his sense of self. It is the deep, unspoken knowledge that he could love her more fiercely than any man she has ever known, but that he could also walk away without flinching if his respect is compromised. This kind of tension does not come from being a bad guy. It does not come from neglect or cruelty. It comes from being a deeply grounded, whole, and self-contained man. And that tension, to the feminine spirit, is as irresistible as gravity. The man she leaves you for might have less money than you, a less impressive job, a less stable life, but if he possesses that edge, if his very presence creates that crackling, electric tension in the air between them, he becomes unforgettable. And here is the part that stings the most, the part that will keep you up at night trying to solve an equation with no logical answer. While you were diligently trying to make her comfortable, he was effortlessly making her feel. While you were giving her your carefully constructed peace, he was giving her fire and feminine energy. When given, the choice will always chase the fire. It will chase the feeling over the comfort, especially if you have been unintentionally smothering her with your incessant approval, trying to win her with a suffocating blanket of security, never letting her wonder about you, never letting her chase you, never letting her feel like she has to earn your precious energy. You made yourself safe, but in doing so, you also made yourself predictable. And predictability, for all its virtues in a business plan, is the silent killer of raw, primal desire. To understand this, you must first understand the fundamental operating system of the feminine psyche. Women are emotional creatures. This is not a criticism, it is a statement of beautiful, chaotic fact. Their deepest addiction, contrary to popular belief, is not to safety or security. It is to sensation. They want to feel alive, and the full spectrum of life includes not just peace and joy, but also longing, suspense, and even a small, healthy dose of uncertainty. The kind of sensation that pulls a woman into a man's orbit and keeps her there, mesmerized and engaged, is one where she can constantly feel the exhilarating edge of potentially losing him. Not because he is toxic or threatening to leave, but because he is so whole, so complete unto himself, that she knows his life does not revolve around her. She knows, on a gut level, that his happiness is not her responsibility, because he generates his own. She knows he is selective with his time and energy, and that his standards are real and non-negotiable. When you give your full attention, your time, your emotional energy, and your provision without first requiring her to meet your standards, you single-handedly dismantle this entire dynamic. You remove the tension. you killed the suspense. She stops feeling the high of earning your affection because it is given so freely. She stops wondering if she is good enough for you because you have already placed her on a pedestal. And eventually, like a child with too many toys, she will grow bored. She will start looking elsewhere, not because she is evil or ungrateful, but because you have inadvertently removed the very mystery that kept her engaged. You handed yourself over on a silver platter without ever pausing to ask if she was even worthy of the feast you were providing. There is something deeply primal, something etched into the very DNA of feminine attraction. And it is this: she wants to feel like she has earned the man she values. She wants the thrill of pursuing something that could be lost if she disrespects it. She wants to chase your approval, not be handed it as a participation trophy for simply showing up. When she senses that no matter what she does, how she behaves, how she tests you, how she pulls away, you will still be there. A loyal dog waiting by the door. It kills her curiosity. It deadens the spark. It transforms her from an engaged, appreciative partner into an entitled one. And eventually, inevitably, she will meet a man who is not so easy to pin down. A man whose world does not shrink to accommodate hers, but rather one whose world is so vast and compelling that she feels a desperate urge to become a part of it. A man who gives less materially but triggers far more emotionally. And in that moment, your carefully constructed kingdom of comfort and provision means absolutely nothing, because he gave her the feeling. He gave her the intoxicating cocktail of suspense, desire, and longing that you, in your quest to be the perfect boyfriend, had systematically eliminated. So many good men lose themselves in this trap. They believe if they just love her more, communicate more, give more, and sacrifice more, she will finally see their value and choose them forever. But they do not realize that she does not want to feel like she is the absolute center of your universe. That is too much pressure. It forces her into the masculine role of being the purpose, the mission. What she truly wants is to feel like she has earned an honored and cherished place in a universe that is already spinning powerfully on its own axis. When you make her your everything before she has proven anything, you catastrophically flip the polarity of the relationship. You become the feminine energy, orbiting her, seeking her approval, reacting to her moods. You give her the masculine role of leading the pursuit, and she did not sign up for that. She wants to feel pulled into your orbit by the sheer force of your gravity, not feel like she is dragging you behind her like a lost puppy. She wants to feel chosen by a king, not worshipped by a supplicant. And when you act like she is the ultimate prize before she has even demonstrated her value, you ironically make yourself disposable. Think about the men she obsesses over, the ones she cannot forget. Think about the ex-boyfriends she still stalks on social media years later, the ones whose names come up in conversation with a flicker of unresolved energy in her eyes. Are they the ones who gave her the world? Rarely. They are the ones who made her feel uncertain. They were grounded, yet unpredictable. Available yet somehow untouchable, present in the moment but never overly eager. They were not perfect, but they had presence. They did not need her to feel worthy, and that very non-neediness is what made her chase them. That is what made her crave their validation. It is not logic. It is the raw, unvarnished truth of emotional psychology. And if you keep playing the nice guy checklist game, thinking that your generosity will unlock her loyalty, you are going to lose, time and time again. To the man who understands how to create that potent, emotional storm, you are not her savior. You are not her therapist. You are not the ATM that is supposed to dispense validation every time she feels insecure. You are the man. And the man, in his true energetic form, does not overextend himself to gain affection. He does not try to buy loyalty with gifts and dinners. He does not sacrifice his standards, his mission, or his masculine frame just to keep her happy. He moves with purpose. He holds his frame. He rewards good behavior, not just her beauty. And in the presence of that masculine strength, she finally relaxes, because even if her chaotic side screams for control, what her body, her soul, and her DNA really want is a man who will not give it to her. She craves a man who will make her earn the access she so desperately desires, not because he is withholding or playing games, but because he respects his own value so much that he will not let anyone, not even the woman he loves, take it for granted. You want to know what she will truly leave you for. It is not for six-pack abs, a bigger bank account, or smoother charm. It is for a feeling. It is the feeling of being pulled into a masculine vortex that she cannot control. It is a presence, so steady, so grounded, that it makes her own feminine energy vibrate in response. It is a silence so confident and self-assured that it makes her question if she is good enough to be in his presence. It is a gaze so grounded that it pierces through all her masks and sees the woman she could be. That is what she stays up at night thinking about. That is what keeps her hooked. And if she gets just a small taste of that feeling from someone else, while you are too busy trying to give her the entire universe on a platter, she will trade your galaxy for that single spark, because it is not the size of your world that matters. To her attraction, it is whether or not she feels something powerful stirring inside of it. So, what do you do? How do you become the man who creates this, rather than the man who is destroyed by it? You must stop giving her everything up front. You must stop proving, stop pleading, and stop over-explaining yourself just to keep her comfortable. Instead, you must do the hard, internal work of building a world so solid, so compelling, and so complete on its own that she has to rise to a higher level just to enter it. You let her earn your attention. You let her chase your validation. You create that powerful emotional polarity by standing still when she tries to shake you with her emotional storms. And in that stillness, she will feel the tension. In that restraint, she will feel the pull. And once she tastes that authentic, masculine presence, she will crave it more than comfort. She will crave it more than your money, your plans, or your promises for the future. Because at the end of the day, she does not want everything. She wants something she cannot control. And that, brother, is you. To understand that emotional tension is the invisible currency of attraction is one thing. To become the man who can mint it at will is another entirely. The first chapter was the diagnosis, the painful but necessary revelation of why the old maps have led you astray. This chapter is the new map. It is the practical, actionable blueprint for becoming the architect of desire. This is not about learning a series of manipulative tricks or disingenuous tactics. Such things are the tools of boys playing games. This is about a fundamental internal reconstruction. It is about forging a character so solid, so grounded, and so aligned with its own purpose that healthy emotional tension becomes the natural byproduct of your very existence. You will learn that you do not create tension. You are the tension. You are the immovable object that creates a powerful current in the river of her emotional world. This is the work of kings, and it begins not with what you do to her, but with what you do to yourself. The very first and most crucial pillar in this construction is the forging of an unconquerable frame. Your frame is your reality. It is your mission, your values, your standards, and your perception of the world. It is the lens through which you see everything. The man who is easily swayed, who constantly changes his opinions to match hers, who abandons his plans because she is in a bad mood, this man has a weak, porous frame. He is, in essence, living in her reality. The woman feels this instantly. If his frame is weaker than hers, she subconsciously takes on the masculine role of leadership, and her attraction for him begins its slow, inexorable death. To build a strong frame, you must first define a life purpose that is completely and utterly separate from a woman. Your mission must be the sun in your solar system. A woman, no matter how wonderful, can only be a planet that chooses to orbit it. This requires a period of deep, honest introspection. You must ask yourself the hard questions. What are your core non-negotiable values? What do you stand for? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? What is the single great objective that you are willing to dedicate your life to, even if it brings you hardship and sacrifice? This could be building a business, mastering a creative art, dedicating yourself to a humanitarian cause, or achieving the peak of physical and mental discipline. The specific what is less important than the why. It must be something that animates you from within, something that provides you with an endless wellspring of internal validation. Once you have this mission, you must write it down. You must create a plan, set goals, and architect a daily routine that serves this purpose. Every decision you make, from what you eat for breakfast to how you spend your weekends, should be filtered through the lens of your mission. The man on his mission develops an entirely different energy. He develops outcome independence. He is invested in his process, but he is fundamentally detached from any specific outcome, especially within his romantic life. He wants her, but he does not need her. Her presence is a joyful addition to his already fulfilling life, not the source of that fulfillment. This is the essence of non-neediness, and it is the bedrock of a powerful masculine frame. He leads conversations, he makes decisions for dates. He sets the emotional tone, not because he is a tyrant, but because he is the one with a clear, defined direction. He is the captain of his own ship, and a woman will always feel more thrilled and secure with a man who knows how to navigate the seas than with one who is constantly asking her for the map. The second pillar is the mastery of restraint and strategic absence. This is where you learn to control your output, making your time and attention the valuable, scarce resources they ought to be. The man who is always available, always texting back within seconds, always eager to fill every moment of silence, communicates that his time is not valuable. He inadvertently signals that he has nothing more important going on than waiting for her. You must learn the art of restraint. This begins with your communication. Learn the power of saying less. Do not send paragraphs when a sentence will suffice. Do not explain your every thought and feeling. Let there be mystery. Let her wonder what you are thinking. Crucially, you must obliterate the impulse to double. If she does not reply, you do not send a follow-up. Her silence is information. Your subsequent text is a plea. Your silence, in response to hers, is a statement of your high standards. This extends to strategic absence. This is not about playing manipulative, disappearing games. It is the natural result of having a life filled with purpose, as outlined in the first pillar. You are not always available to hang out because you are working on your business. You cannot talk on the phone for hours because you are in the gym, training your body. Your absence must be genuine. When you are truly busy building your empire, your scarcity becomes authentic and, therefore, far more potent. This creates the space for her to miss you, to think about you, to chase you. You must also learn to use your attention as a reward mechanism. This is not about manipulation. It is about healthy conditioning. When she is respectful, supportive, kind, and feminine, you reward her with your full, undivided presence, with warmth, affection, and praise. You make her feel like the most special woman in the world. However, when she is disrespectful, chaotic, or crosses one of your boundaries, you must be willing to immediately withdraw that warmth and attention. This creates a powerful feedback loop. She learns that her positive behavior brings her closer to your masculine warmth, and her negative behavior creates a cold distance. She will, subconsciously at first, begin to adjust her behavior to receive more of the reward. She will begin to show up as her best self to earn your best self. The third pillar is the cultivation of unpredictability and masculine edge. This is what keeps the spark alive long after the initial chase is over. Predictability is the death of desire. If she knows exactly what you will do, what you will say, and how you will react in every situation, the relationship becomes a flat line. You must be the source of novelty and healthy disruption. It is crucial to differentiate this from instability. Instability is toxic chaos. A man who is emotionally volatile, unreliable, and creates drama is simply a boy in pain. Unpredictability, on the other hand, comes from a place of grounded confidence. It is the ability to surprise her, to challenge her, and to keep her on her toes in a way that feels exciting, not frightening. You can do this by suddenly planning an adventurous date. Instead of the usual dinner and a movie, you can introduce her to a new hobby or idea that you are passionate about, expanding her world. You can playfully challenge her opinions during a debate, showing that you are not afraid of intellectual friction. You can be spontaneously romantic and passionate, but only at times when she has earned it, making those moments feel like treasured, unpredictable gifts rather than a routine obligation. This also involves developing your edge. Your edge is your masculine wit, your confidence, your willingness to tease her, to banter with her, and to not always be the soft, agreeable, nice guy. It is the subtle hint of power and danger that you keep under masterful control. When you can look her in the eye and make a flirtatious, challenging joke that makes her laugh and blush at the same time, you are creating that edge. It reminds her that she is with a man, not just a friend. It is this combination of a solid, predictable frame with an unpredictable, edgy behavior that creates the perfect storm of emotional tension that a woman finds utterly addictive. The man who has diligently worked on these pillars, who has built an unconquerable frame from a place of purpose, who wields restraint and absence with strategic wisdom, and who maintains a captivating edge of unpredictability, has become the architect of desire. He no longer has to think about creating tension. His very being, his presence, is a source of that tension. He is a complete man, a sovereign individual, and his energy is the one thing she cannot get from the provider, from the nice guy, or from the supplicant. He is no longer just the man who gives her comfort. He has become the source of the very feeling she craves more than anything else. He is the man she will never leave, not because she is trapped, but because she knows, with every fiber of her being, that she will never, ever find another man like him. He has done the work, and he has become not just a partner, but a destination. And that is a power that no amount of money can buy, and no amount of effort can replicate. It can only be forged